Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we give you the shortcut to what matters most. Before we get started on today's snapshot of global events, a quick word about who makes this all possible. This Deep Dive is brought to you by ProCare Hanoi. They're the phone and laptop repair shop trusted by the expat community. You get fast service, clear communication, and honest advice, which is, exactly what you need when your tech starts to sweat. Because, let's be honest, when the world moves this fast, you just don't have time for a broken screen. And on that note, this show is really a labor of love. So if you found any value in our analysis, your support means the world. Buy me a coffee is probably the simplest way to say thanks. And trust me, every single cup keeps the analysis flowing. Just scan the QR code you see in the podcast cover art. And a huge thank you to everyone who's already supported us. You are really fueling this journey. Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this day. We pulled sources from December 9th, 2025. And what we found was a world sort of operating on two totally contradictory tracks.
It really is a study in contrast.
On one side, you had these high-stakes political transitions, violent geopolitical flare-ups, and then on the other, you have this massive explosion of infrastructure spending, all driven by the future of computing.
And that contrast, I think, is the key to understanding this particular snapshot. Our mission today is to connect these seemingly separate events. We want to show how border conflicts and huge tech booms, how they actually reveal the underlying political stability or instability and the economic velocity of the world at this exact moment.
It feels like an acceleration point.
It is. It's a point where both progress and peril are speeding up at the same time.
Okay, so let's start with the geopolitics. This is where that contrast between, say, liberation and immediate threat is just so sharp. First up, Syria. The sources marked the one-year anniversary of Bashar al-Assad's fall. We're seeing images of, tens of thousands gathered in the Mayad Square?
A monumental historical marker.
And they're celebrating the end of over 5 decades of Ba'athist rule.
Right, and for you, the listener, it's important to understand the context of that. The Ba'athist regime was rooted in this secular, pan-Arab authoritarianism.
Decades of centralized control.
Exactly. So its collapse after all that time is precisely why international observers are calling this peaceful rally a rare bright spot in the region.
But the sources also really hammered this term fragile transition. It feels like they're injecting a huge dose of caution into the celebration.
They're injecting reality. I mean, the political liberation part is done, but the economic and structural challenges of actually building a nation, they're immense.
So the elections are slated for mid-2026, but the day-to-day problems persist.
That's it. The core economic issues, rampant inflation, collapsed infrastructure, unemployment, those don't just disappear when a regime changes. The real danger is that if financial suffering continues, it undermines public faith in the whole political transition before it can even, stabilize.
Right, before it can deliver any real improvements for the average person. Okay, so from that fragile hope in Syria, let's pivot to a place where old tensions just erupted violently. Southeast Asia. Old maps are suddenly drawing new blood.
This was a rapid and tragic escalation. Cambodian forces shelled Thailand's Ubon Ratchathani province.
And there were casualties.
Yes. One Thai soldier was killed, 4 others injured, and it was all in a disputed border zone. What's crucial to understand here is that this isn't random. This specific flare-up, it revives this long-standing territorial dispute over the Priya Vihar temple region.
Echoing the clashes from 2008, right?
Exactly. These are deeply emotional, nationally charged issues that go back to old contested boundary lines.
But I have to ask, isn't it true that regional bodies, like ASEAN, they often issue these strong statements but don't really have enforcement power? Is this diplomatic response actually containing the conflict?
That's a critical question, and it gets right to the heart of how regional stability works or doesn't work. And while ASEAN does rely heavily on diplomacy, what our sources highlighted was just the sheer speed of the response. ASEAN urged immediate de-escalation, and crucially, the prime ministers of both countries got on a direct hotline almost immediately.
So that high-level engagement suggests it's being taken very seriously.
It suggests a genuine political will to contain this before it spirals. They prioritize the containment mechanisms over any kind of military escalation.
Okay, let's move to a conflict that is just a constant grinding war of attrition.
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
The sources detailed a horrific tragedy in Dnipro. A Russian Iskander missile hit a residential block.
And the term Iskander missile is important. These are precise, advanced tactical ballistic missiles. They're designed to overwhelm defenses.
And this attack just shows the brutal, grinding toll this war takes on everyday life. especially with winter setting in.
Absolutely.
And the defense numbers here really provide a sobering contrast. Ukraine's air defenses intercepted 80% of the barrage.
Which is an incredible technological success. It saved countless lives.
But that remaining 20% that got through,
Yeah.
that's what caused this specific devastating tragedy. 4 civilians killed, including a child.
Exactly. And it forces you, the listener, to sort of rethink what success even means in defense. That 80% interception rate is a massive technical achievement. But the 20% that gets through still carries this catastrophic potential, turning a residential area into a zone of pure terror, which is what President Zelensky called it.
Yeah. For the people on the ground, the abstract success rate means nothing when you're dealing with that absolute tragedy.
Right. It doesn't mitigate the horror of what gets through.
That shift from high-cost conflict to high-cost development it's jarring, but way to do it for the full picture. So let's pivot to the world of AI infrastructure and this immense financial boom we saw on this date. The AWS reInvent conference was wrapping up.
And CEO Matt Garman was on stage calling AI agents the next frontier.
What exactly does that mean for the listener who might not be super technical? What's an autonomous AI agent?
So think of it like this. It's not just an AI that answers a single question. These are sophisticated programs that can execute complex, multi-step business tasks all on their own.
So like managing an entire inventory system.
We're scheduling complex logistics end to end. Garmin believes these will, and I'm quoting, supercharge business ops.
And the market definitely reacted as if this promise was already a reality.
Whoa, absolutely.
We saw immediate investor confidence just flooding in. Salesforce shares surged on blowout earnings. It was their best week since 2023.
And Rubrik stock.
It just ripped 22% higher after smashing its guidance. It's an undeniable flood of capital into that AI application layer.
The capital is flowing, for sure. But the sources introduced this huge counter-narrative, this reality check that's vital to understand.
A physical supply chain.
The physical supply chain is fighting back. Meta, for example, had to delay its Phoenix mixed reality glasses.
All the way to 2027.
Right, and the reason they gave, persistent supply woes.
That Meta delay and the BlackRock warning we saw, they feel like two sides of the same coin. What was BlackRock's message?
BlackRock's forecast was very specific. They warn that the truly massive spending on AI infrastructure, we're talking data centers, specialized chips, and the immense power generation needed.
It's only just beginning.
It's just ramping up. They explicitly called it a sustained, multi-year boom with no slowdown in sight.
So if you're betting on the future of AI, you can't just look at the software, you have to look at the physical foundation.
It's the foundational bottleneck of this whole revolution. I mean, the demand for advanced chips, especially the high-end GPUs you need for this stuff, it just far outstrips our global capacity to make them.
And power problem's even bigger, right?
It's huge. These data centers require an obscene amount of electricity, often as much as a small city.
Wow.
So BlackRock is basically pointing out that we're facing a supply constraint in both silicon and in energy. The Meta delay is the perfect illustration. The idea for the product is ready, but the physical components needed to actually build it are stuck in that bottleneck.
Which is why we need these multi-trillion-dollar investments just to build the foundation to run the AI agents AWS is promising.
That's the long-term play.
This is where it gets really interesting, connecting the extremes of commerce and culture. We've talked about the cost of war and infrastructure. Now let's look at the price of rarity and the cost of finding answers.
Let's start with rarity. The sources gave us the spectacular marker of cultural value, the Fabergé winter egg.
It sold at Christie's for a record $22.9 million.
An astounding number, the highest price ever for the iconic jeweler. It represents the pinnacle of, established monetary value attached to art and history.
Okay, now contrast that clear, definite value with the indefinite high-stakes cost of pursuing closure for a global tragedy.
MH370.
Malaysia greenlit a fresh hunt for the MH370 wreckage starting December 30th.
And this contrast is just so powerful. The search for MH370 is driven by a global need for closure, not by commerce. And the sources highlighted a really unique detail about the operation.
The no find, no fee basis.
Exactly. Ocean Infinity is leading this 55-day deep-sea scan, but on a no find, no fee contract.
That's fascinating. What does that kind of business model tell us about this search so many years later?
It speaks volumes. It's about the risk, the reliance on high technology, and the political necessity of the mission. The cost of a search like this is monumental.
So the contractor is shouldering all the financial risk.
They are. They're signaling supreme confidence in their tech, but they only get paid if they deliver the one thing that matters, locating the wreckage. It sets a really interesting precedent for these complex global humanitarian investigations.
Before we wrap up, we need to touch on the pulse of justice and competition. In India, the actor Dilip was acquitted in that high-profile assault case.
Right.
But the social reaction might have been more important than the verdict itself.
Absolutely. The judicial process reached its outcome, but the sources noted the verdict immediately sparked these widespread, heated debates on celebrity justice.
This idea that fame and influence can impact the legal process.
Yes, that's a crucial societal pressure point. The suggestion that, regardless of the actual evidence, a famous name can alter the course of justice. The conversation shifts from the law itself to the broader perception of fairness in the system.
And finally, a quick pulse check on sports.
Yeah.
We had Inter Milan facing Liverpool in a big Champions League match.
A great success story for India's junior women's hockey team, too.
They crushed Wales 3-1, which gives them perfect momentum heading into their T20 series against South Africa.
It's just a vital reminder, isn't it, that these global rivalries and triumphs, they play out every day. They provide this constant rhythm beneath all the volatility of politics and tech.
So we started this deep dive with geopolitical flashpoints and tech breakthroughs. But we have to end on this feel-good moment from the sources because I think it brings the whole thing full circle.
The Michigan couple.
The story of the Michigan couple who lost their wallet.
Yeah, this is the perfect micro story to balance out all the macro volatility we've been discussing.
So they lose their wallet, and it gets returned intact by a complete stranger.
A good Samaritan who also tucked in an extra $20 bill and told them to buy a coffee. Just a small, voluntary act of grace.
And their reaction to this simple act of honesty was just profound. They decided to pay it forward immediately.
They started a local holiday toy drive for kids in need.
And in just a few days, they collected over 500 gifts. They turned that one small act into this huge wave of community generosity.
And that's really our conclusion for the day. The world on December 9th, 2025, it's defined by these immense, overwhelming forces, right? The fragility in Syria, the constant threat of war, the dizzying speed of tech.
But this Michigan story reminds us that stability isn't just a function of geopolitics or economics.
Exactly. Sometimes the most immediate and profound stability is found in these small, voluntary gestures.
These gestures of community connection that just spark a chain reaction.
Precisely. So we've synthesized this snapshot of a world that's oscillating between breakdown and breakthrough. And this leaves us with an important question for you, the listener, to consider.
When the systems of the world, political, military, technological, seem so volatile and fast-moving, where do you ultimately anchor your own sense of stability?
Is it in the promise of advanced infrastructure, like chips and power grids? Or is it through the resilience and kindness of your local community, demonstrated by something as simple as a returned wallet? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.